welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna be focusing on the taillight of the Hypermotard. So let's take a look. So this is the current setup that we have on the Hypermotard. So it's pretty much the stock license holder. So we're gonna get rid of all of this and also the taillight. We are gonna be installing an integrated taillight, which is sitting just right here. So I've already unpacked all of the stuff. So this is the integrated taillight, which has obviously integrated indicators built in. We've also had a resistor included in the package, so in case the indicator starts flashing fast, we can install that. And we also had the stock harness plug included, which is very convenient because we don't need to splice any wires. We just use the plug and plug it in directly using the stock harness. So the integrated taillight comes with all the wires pre-crimped, so that's a lot of time already saved also. And I have gotten this from AliExpress. You can also get it from eBay, and it costs around 35 euro. So as usual, I will put the link in the description of the video. So let's take a look on our bike what we need to remove and undo to install this new integrated taillight. So first of all, I'm gonna be removing these 4 Allen bolts which hold the license plate holder. The taillight is also held on by this piece of plastic here in the middle, so it can't be pushed out because this is holding it. So we're gonna have to remove all of this fairing here. From what I can see, there's a couple of bolts on the underside. These 2 torque screws hold the taillight in place. So I'm guessing if we remove both screws, we can just pull the taillight out. And this is the stock Ducati taillight harness pin, which is 3 wires, same as our new taillight. So I need to match the colors before we connect the new connector. So yeah, job looks pretty simple. So let's start removing the license plate holder, removing those 4 Allen bolts, and then we'll move on to those 2 torque screws at the back to remove the taillight. Okay, so I have some great news. While removing the tailpiece, I found the adapters which will match our own adapters. So these are the 2-pin ones and will match these. So thankfully we don't need to splice anything and just connect those adapters to these, and then we'll have bullet connectors for our new taillight. So let's unclip these connectors and then just go ahead and start removing these torque screws to remove the taillight. To reach these torques, we'll probably have to undo also the fuse box, so I have some space to insert the torque wrench. So fuse box out of the place. So now we have access to the torque screw for the taillight. Now we can also pull in all the indicator wiring harness from the hole here. So let's just do that. So it will be much easier if you remove the rubber grommet. So you can just pull them all in easily now. So I have all cabling on the inside. So the tail part is now clean, there's no wiring or anything at all. So let us just remove these 2 torque screws now. Okay, so we just removed these 4 Allen bolts and this fairing should come right off. Okay, that was easy at least. So make sure the taillight is unplugged from the harness, this one, and we should just pull it right off. Probably need to remove this rubber here, grommet. Since the colors on the taillight are different from the harness, I did some test fitting. So basically these 3 wires, and these should match like this. So black with black, green will match with yellow, I'm not sure if you can see it, and red will match with the gray wire. So we can just put these 3 wires in that order in this plug now and connect it back to the harness of the bike. So all the wiring is now done. As you can see, we've passed everything through the grommet, the rubber grommet. We've put the taillight also in place. I've put the cables in the plug and plugged it into the bike harness. So we can put these wires neatly somewhere here. Now, since we've ended up with a lot of wiring for the indicators, I've decided to pass the yellow wires underneath this bracket all the way up here, and then we have the resistors and the Ducati 2-pin adapters going into the resistors. Now, with the package provided with the taillight, we've only got this resistor, which in my case it didn't work. The plugs are a bit different, so we have a female and male on each side instead of 2 male and 2 female, how it should be. So I've had these 2 extra resistors in my garage, so I used them and they're working perfectly. So all we did is plug the yellow wire into the black wire and the black wire into the red wire, both adapters, and then we just plugged the yellow wires of the integrated taillight into the yellow wire of the resistor, and everything is working. So currently the bike has the ignition on, so I'm gonna put the camera somewhere back there so we can see all the lights working. So normal light is on. We're gonna press the brakes now. Now we're gonna try out both indicators. So now all that is left is to screw everything back in, taillight, the relay, the fuse box, and also we need to tidy up a bit all of these wires, put them somewhere on the side with a cable tie, and finally put the fairing back on the bike. So we've got everything back together, including the back fairing. We've tied down everything, relay, and also the fuse box, and I've put the indicator wires on the sides here and the relays underneath the ECU. So they are quite neat now and they don't show. So let me put on the seat now and let's see how the bike looks. And the bike looks much better than it was. The back is so clean now without the license plate holder. I'm still waiting for a tail tidy, which is gonna be much smaller than the stock one obviously, and without the indicators. I'm actually really happy with this taillight for the price. You get such a really good bargain and you can clean up the rear so well with it. So unfortunately I only got the taillight installed today because the tail tidy is still on the way. It hasn't arrived yet. So yeah, that will probably be part of the next video. I'm also waiting for a starter motor for the bike. So as you guys may have seen in the first video when I started up the bike, it took very long to crank. And apparently I was reading on the forums, these bikes suffer a lot from the starter motor. They had a cheap unit which failed early on and it was revised later with a Denso motor. So I have bought the new part number now and eventually I'm gonna replace it. So I don't know exactly when the starter motor will arrive, but hopefully that will be our next video. So yeah guys, that is all for today. I hope this has helped you in assembling your rear integrated taillight also. It's pretty simple to do and I suggest that you do it. It cleans up the bike really well. So yeah guys, that is all. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.